SwiftUI uses a really powerful Apple framework called Core Animation for its drawing by default, which offers really great performance out of the box. However, for complex rendering needs, you might find your code starts to slow down. Anything below 60 frames a second is a bad thing. You'll get juttering in your UI. And in fact, really, you ought to aim higher because modern devices like iPhone 13 and iPad Pro, and even the new MacBook Pros, run at 120 Hz. So you've got to draw 120 times a second just to stay smooth. I want to show this problem live because otherwise it's hard to imagine it. So we'll look at some example code. We're going to create a color cycling view that renders concentric circles in a range of colors. Now the result will look like a radial gradient, but we're going to add two properties to make it more customizable. One to control how many circles should be drawn, and one to control the color cycle. So it'll be able to move the gradient around the circle as we drag it around. Now we can get a color cycling effect by using a new color initializer called color with hue, saturation, and brightness. Hue is a value from 0 to 1 containing the actual color hue. So red is both 0 and 1 with all other colors in between in the hues. Plus we have saturation, how strongly colored it is, and brightness, how dark or light it is. To figure out the hue for a particular circle, we can take our circle number, like we are circle 25 for example, divide that by how many circles there are, for example 100, and we'll get 0.25. Or 0.5 or 0.75, whatever it is. And that'll be our hue. So if we were circle 25 of 100, we'd be hue 0.25. But if our cycle amount was 0.5, so we're halfway through a cycle, we'll add that to our hue to get 0.75. So we'll cycle the hues around and around. You'll see it in action. It looks very, very nice. There is one small complexity here, which is that hues don't automatically wrap after we reach 1, which means a hue of 1 is equal to a hue of 0, but a hue of 1.2 is not equal to a hue of 0.2. As a result, we're going to wrap the hue by hand. If it's over 1, we'll subtract 1 to make sure it always lies in the range of 0 to 1. Enough chat. Let's write some code. There's a struct called a color cycling circle, which is a view. This thing has an amount and how many steps to draw. Inside here is, of course, our body property, some view. We'll do a Z stack so we can render many circles. We'll say for each 0 2 steps, value comes in, draw a circle, inset that by the amount we want to work with. So in our case, that will be our value, which needs to be a double. So we'll say double that value. We'll then stroke its border. And this has to use a method we haven't written yet, so I'll leave it as it is blank for a second, and then write the method first. The method is called color for value int with brightness double, so we can control it over time. So we'll say func color for value int brightness double returns a color. This is where we do the calculation of figuring out which color to draw for this particular circle. So we'll say our target hue is a double of our value divided by double of our steps. So remember, if we are circle 25 of 100, that's our target hue. We've got to add to that our amount so we can shift the colors over time. If that target hue is greater than 1, wrap it back down to the range 0 to 1. Target hue minus equals 1. And now we can return a color. So we'll return a color with, we want hue, saturation, brightness. So we'll do target hue, our saturation of 1, and brightness of whatever brightness we were passed in to use. And now we can use that up here in our stroke border call. What color should this be done? That's easy enough. We'll just do color for our current value with brightness of 1 and a line width of 2. Like that. Hopefully that all built. Seems quite happy. Now we can use that in a layout. We can say down here, we want to use that, but we want to control the color cycle so you can see it cycling the colors around. So we'll say there's an @state, private var, color cycle is 0.0. Down the body, we'll say there's a vstack with our color cycling view, color cycling circle, there we go. The amount being our color cycle. It's whatever we've asked to do. In a frame, width 300, height 300. And we'll control color cycle using a slider. Slider with value color cycle. Now I have the range 0 to 1 automatically, which is perfect here. Let's go ahead and build and run the code so you can see what it looks like already. We should, all being well, see a whole bunch of circles with different colors because there's huge shifting as it goes through circles. Let's find out. Do it. Come on. There we go. And this slider here affects the shift of the colors. So I drag it to the right, the colors shift all the way around. So now red's at the start and end, and at the start, red's at the start and end, and in the middle somewhere, you know, green's at the start and end, or blue, whatever. Like that. So we can shift our colors around. So all that is a bunch of circles, 100 circles going out the way, each with subtly different hues, going from 0 to 1 on the outside, being offset by whatever's in this slider. It works really, really smoothly. Now what you're seeing right now is powered by that core animation framework. It's drawing 100 circles into 100 individual views being drawn to the screen. This is computationally expensive, but as you can see, it works brilliantly, right? We get really smooth performance even in a simulated iPhone, right? While I'm recording at the same time, this is extremely fast. Never mind in a real iPhone, lightning fast. However, if we increase the complexity a little bit, things won't be quite so rosy. So we have a stroke border here, using color for this thing here, like that. I'm going to replace that, a simple boring color, with a gradient. We'll say there's a linear gradient here, and this thing takes a gradient, and our gradient will have a bunch of colors. So we'll say here, make an array. I'm trying to space it out neatly so you can see what I'm doing. The first color will be brightness 1 like before. Second will be brightness 0.5. So it's going to have a gradient from the same color at the top to a darker version of it at the bottom. Then we have the start point, I'll say top, and end point bottom. Add a bit more spacing, you can see what's going on here, all being well. This is our parameter here, and then here, and that ends the gradient, like that. Hopefully you can read what it's doing. Rather than just filling in one color, we're filling in gradient for every circle we have. So now we have a gentle gradient for all 100 circles, showing bright colors at the top and then darker colors at the bottom. And now when you run the app, you'll find it runs significantly slower. This is me dragging it around, and it's really struggling to keep up. Because it's doing lots more work. Rendering every color for every red, yellow, green, blue, purple, and so forth all the way down. It is struggling to render 100 gradients as part of 100 separate views. We can fix this by applying one new modifier called drawingGroup. This tells SwiftUI it should render the contents of the view into an off-screen image before putting it back onto the screen as a single piece of rendered output, which is significantly faster. Now behind the scenes, this stops being powered by core animation and instead is powered by Metal, which is Apple's framework for doing extremely fast, high performance GPU graphics. So we have our color cycling circle with our Z stack here. I need to apply one modifier to the Z stack, .drawingGroup. And now run it again. That one tiny change, one modifier, now I can grab this thing and it will slide up and down significantly faster. It's now lightning fast, smooth, back to what it was before with that one modifier. So it's full speed. even with the gradients. In fact, you could do more and more and more. It'd still be lightning fast because metal is just amazing. So, this drawing group modifier really is helpful to know about. You want to know it in your arsenal for times when you've got performance problems when you hit them. But you should not be using it that often. Don't reach for it straight away. Adding an off-screen render pass might actually slow down SwiftUI for simple drawing. And so you want to wait till you have an actual performance problem you want to try and solve before trying to bring in a drawing group modifier.